Okay, so we have discussed um, uh, operators, right? And we discussed about uh,
Data types.
arithmetic operators.
Mm.
Okay, so you can refer our uh, last notes. So we did arithmetic operators, right? And we did
Mm.
the conditional operators, right? And so far so good, correct?
Mm.
Okay. So now we'll talk about say logical operators. Okay. What does logical operators mean? Okay. This is used to check logic. It means here the input is also going to be your Boolean values, and output is also Bool values. Okay. Input is also Boolean and output is also Boolean. Okay. Now, example. Okay. So let's say, um, okay, before that, let's say I make the statement, Sachin and Dravid will open the batting, let's say. If I say this, okay, and only let's say Sachin and Sehwag opened the batting. Tell me, my prediction is correct or wrong?
Mm. You want me to answer that?
Yes.
Yeah, Sehwag and Sachin, right?
Yes. So I made a prediction. So this is my prediction. Okay. First line. I made a prediction that Sachin and Dravid will open the batting. But this is what happened actually.
Mm.
So, is it correct? Did my prediction uh, turn out to be true or false?
First one is like false and second one is true, right?
I can't hear. You can be a little louder.
Oh, dear. Let me check that.
Yeah.
I'm not on mute, right? No,
No,
I'm
no,
not
no.
on. So P is like false and A is like
No, no,
true,
no.
right?
B is my prediction. Okay. So
Okay.
it's like this. Let's say I put a bet on P. Okay. But
Okay.
actually A happened. So will I get my money or not? Or
No,
did I win or not?
no, lose.
Should partially win, fully win? I'm asking yes or no. Okay.
No.
Why?
I mean, it's a prediction, right? The actual scenario is different.
Okay. Now, okay. Let's say
Okay.
this is actual one. Okay.
Okay.
Or okay, let's say this is actual. I make prediction one. Okay.
Mm.
Now I make second prediction.
Mm.
I say Sachin or Dravid will open the batting.
Mm.
Actually, A happened. So now my prediction P1 is, you tell me about P1. Is it P1 is true or false, or P2 is true or false?
P2 is true and P1 is false.
Correct. Okay. So that's it. This is called logical operators. Okay. And or. Okay. So
Okay.
in and, you are taking responsibility for everything. Okay. So you want everything to be true so that it can be true. Okay. When I say and, I'm saying both situation will happen. Okay.
Mm.
When I say or, I'm only saying one of the situation I'm taking responsibility. Now,
Mm.
if both turns out to be true, then that's also okay. Okay. But so here in and, okay, even one condition is false, entire thing would be false. In
Mm.
or, Okay, even one condition is true, okay, entire thing would be true.
Mm.
Okay, so this is the difference. Okay, so now if I say a equal to 10 and b equal to 20, okay, and I say print um print um a greater than b, or b greater than a and b not equal to a. Okay, now you tell me what will be the output of this. Okay, so or you write using small or, and you write using small and, a and d. That's how we do in Python.
So it will print A, B greater than A and B not equal to A, right? The output will be?
No, output will be either true or false.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so now you tell me this component a greater than b,
Yeah,
is it
it
true
is
or
true.
false?
That one is
Is it
false,
no
but it
no
is
no no, wait. We'll go step by step. Tell me about this.
false.
This will be true or false?
That is false. A
This is
greater than.
false. Okay. So these are the intermediate steps. Okay. Now b greater than a.
True.
True.
Mm,
And b not equal to a.
True.
True. Okay. So you know this is evaluated to false or true and true. Okay.
Mm,
Now in this case, if you say you have
mm,
or and, okay. So in
mm,
or and first and is taken. Okay. Think and as multiplication. Think as multiplication. Okay.
mm,
And or as addition. So in rule, BODMAS rule, in a mathematical rule, multiplication comes first, isn't it? So in
mm.
this case, true will come first. So true and true will make it
True.
true, right? So true
Mm,
and true you can replace with just true.
mm,
Now false or true
mm.
is what?
False.
No,
Oh,
false
false or
or
true?
is
True.
true, right?
Ah,
Right? So when you run this statement, you'll get
mm,
true,
yeah.
right? So this is how logical operators work. Okay, and this is very powerful, very useful. Okay, every program uses this. Okay, so we'll see this. Okay, so yeah, you can have true or false, false or true, false or false, true or true. If any one value is true, it is true. Again, in AND, we call this truth table. Truth table means all the possibilities.
Mm,
False and false, true and true, false
mm,
and true, true and false. Okay, so these are the possibilities, and the output will be, depending on the values that we give. Okay, so this is what your logical operators are called. Okay, then you have something called as membership test or operator. Okay, this is to check if the value is there or not. Okay. Mm, Now again, we are going to discuss about list later. List is, so we have discussed integer, float, Boolean, complex, and string. Correct, little bit. Um, then when we talk about advanced data structure later, we'll talk about structure, data structure which can store more than one values. So one of the most common thing is called list. Okay, so I'm saying L1 equal to, and this is how you define. Okay, don't worry, we'll discuss it later. So in this case, what happened? L1 is storing multiple values. Okay, not just one integer. It is storing multiple integer values. So if I print L1 and if I print type of L1,
mm,
so L1 if you print, you get all these values, right? And type
mm,
is list. Okay. Now membership test, a membership is used to see if a member exists in this list or not. So if I say print, okay, 5 in L1. Okay. Is 5 in L1? That's what it means. Okay. True. Because 5 is in L1. Correct? So in is called membership test. Okay. So 5 is in L1 here. So it get true. You can say 5. You can even check not in L1. Is 5 not in L1? No, false, because 5 is in L1. So not is another logical operators, which is like, if it is true, make it false. If it is false, make it true. So or and needs two values, right? It is something or something, something and something, but not needs only one value. So if I say print not b equal to a. So b equal to a, is it true or false?
False.
False, right? Because they are different values. So not false is
True.
exactly. So not works
True.
only on one value, and if it is
So,
true, yeah.
so we have to use that exclamatory mark and equal to check it, right? But why we are using not b equal to a?
No, I want to
So,
check if it is equal to or not, right?
mm,
I want to check
mm,
if it is equal to or not, and then I want to say whatever the output you get, I'm doing complementary inverse of that. So is b equal to a? Answer would be yes or no, right? Let's say in this case no. Then I'm saying opposite of that. I want opposite of that. I want reverse of that. I can even say here not of all these,
okay.
right? So this is evaluating it to true. Let's say the not of true will become false. So you can even use something like this. Did you get it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can use not is to change the Boolean type. So you can use it. Here you are asking, right? Instead of saying equal to, you can say not equal to, right? You are right. Okay. You can say not equal to, or you can use it multiple places. Here also you can use it. Because not needs only one value, that's why I cannot put somewhere in between not. Okay. So entire thing I am saying not. So not will give me, okay, not b equal to a is true, right? So it was coming to true and said not, so it became false. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So similarly, you have here in and not in. So this is a membership test. Is it in this big value or not, right? 5 is in here. So if I say 5 not in L1, it becomes false because 5 is in L1.
Okay.
Okay, done. So what else? So membership test is done. Then there's something called as um, bitwise OR. But before that, okay, I want to convert into different number system. Okay, so when I say a equal to 10, okay, and of course this is integer. This is integer is in decimal number system. Integer is in decimal number system. Okay, decimal is that you have 10 digits, right? 0 to 9. Now I want to convert into binary form. Binary is 0 to 1, 0, 1, correct? So you can say print bin of A. Okay,
Okay.
bin of
Binary.
A, yes. So bin of A will give you binary of A. Okay, you'll get a binary value, right? So binary value is always represented in 0B format.
0B, okay.
Okay, 0B format. It is always represented in 0B format. Okay, 0B and then 1010. So if you see 10 here like this without anything before, that means it is a integer number, right? Now similarly, if I put, let's say, b equal to 0B, okay, no, 0B 10. Now 0B 10 is a binary format. It is no longer a integer decimal 10. It is binary 10. And binary 10, what is the value of 10?
I don't remember. It's been so long.
Yeah, so I mean, when you know Python, you don't have to remember. But generally what happens, like if you have to convert binary to integer, okay, so you have like first position is 2 power 0, right? 2 power 0 is 1, then 2 power 1 is 2, 2 power 2. So see, when you talk about decimal system, right? So decimal system, here it is 10 power 0, 1, right? 5 is 5, 10 is 10, sorry, 9 is 9. But when you make it 10, it becomes 10 power 1. That means tens, right? 1 tens and 0 ones. If you have something like this one, or let's say 4, it means 4 hundreds, 1 10 and 0 ones, right? So suddenly if I have 1 0 here, it means 0 ones and 1 twos. So here 400 means 400 plus 10 plus 0, correct? So here 0 is 0, 1 is 2. So 2 plus 0, you get 2, right? If I put 1 1 0, so this is 1 2 upper 2 4. So 4 plus 2 plus 0, which is 6. Okay, so this is what it means. So when I say 1 0, it is actually 2. Okay, so now if I print b, okay, b equal to, and I say b here, okay, you get 2. Okay, but you can even say int of b, because by default it is printing decimal only. So if you say b also, you get 2, or you can say int of 2. Similarly, you have octal and hexadecimal. Hex for hexadecimal and OTCT for octal number systems. Okay, octal number systems will have 0 to 7. Okay, 0 to 7, then 10 is 8. What is 8 for us? Okay, 8 is written as 1 0 in octal number system. Okay, hexadecimal will have 16. So 0 to 9 plus A, B, C, D, okay, E, F. A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, so what is 10 for us will be A in hexadecimal. What is 15 for us will be F in hexadecimal. And what is 16 for us will be 10 in hexadecimal, right? So repetition, 0 to end, and then it repeats like that. So, okay, so this is how you can convert into one decimal form to another decimal form. Hexadecimal is represented as 0x. Okay, so when you see a number like 0x and 5050, it means it is a hexadecimal, always. Okay, and octal is 00 0 0 0. So let's say if I convert OCT of A, or I can convert B also. B is 2 in binary. Octal, okay, int of B will give us integer, right? OCT of B will give us octal value. You see 0, 2, right?
Okay.
You can similarly convert hexadecimal.
Mm.
You get
Mm.
0x2, 0x hexa and 2. So like that you
So
can
will we
convert.
use it,
Sorry.
will we use this hexadecimal and octadecimal numbers or not?
No,
Octal
not in our machine learning journey.
no, right?
No.
Never heard of this thing.
Yeah. It is easy, right? It's just a function. That's why I thought, okay, to tell you that, these are the things that exist in Python. Okay. So, yeah, so we have covered almost everything in operators. Now,
Mm.
and we know the data types, correct? And we have done simple programs also, right? So let's say I want to do a program where I want to add marks of 5 subject and print sum and average, right? So example, num1 equal to, or marks 1 rather, right? Let's say marks 1 equal to 89, marks 2 equal to 90, marks 3 equal to 56, marks 4 equal to 67, marks 5 equal to 78, right? So these are the marks, correct? Now, marks 3, right? Now, to find sum, I will simply say sum equal to marks 1 plus marks 2 plus marks 3 plus marks 4 plus marks 5, correct? This will give me total. And average will be sum by 5, correct? So I can say print total marks obtained in 5 subjects is, this is what we discussed, right? And average is this, correct? And we said that we put F here and we can put sum here and we can put AVG here. So now when you run it, you say total marks obtained 5 subjects is 380 and average is 76%, right? Maybe I can add percent here. So now you know that it is 76%, right? Now, in this example, if you see, okay, these marks are fixed, right? If you run it 100 times also, you get same total and average, right? But typically, that's not how we do a program, right? Because like if a user has to make some changes, you doesn't have to go to the code and make some changes. You want to make it more interactive and to make it more user-friendly, interactive. We call it interactive. That means you want user to give you the input, right? So for that, we have something called as input value. Okay, I'll copy this so that you have it as your reference. And you say here input. Okay, input is a function which is used to read input from the user. See, print is something that prints on the screen, isn't it? Input is something that will ask the user to give value. Okay, so input will give values to the user, will read the value from the user. Okay, so when I run this here, okay, so you see that cursor is waiting here. Program has not finished. It executed till here, till 35, you got this, and now it is waiting. Okay, it is waiting for us to enter a value because we give input, right? So input is give me some value. So it is waiting. Now, since we have written the program, so we know that we have to enter marks 1. But let's say if I give this program to you and you are executing it, you will not know what to type here, right? So input accepts one parameter. So let's say I give 2 here first. First, let's see what happens. If I give 2 here, what happens? Only concatenate string to str. See, when I give marks2 equal to 90, Python knows that I'm inputting integer value, correct? If I give marks2 equal to hello in quotes, it means I'm giving string value. So when you're assigning the value to the program, it is very clear what you want to do. But when you put marks1 equal to input, and when you are reading the value from the user, okay, you don't know what kind of value the user is entering, correct or not? See, when I say 90, it is integer. When I say quotation, it means it is string. But when you're inputting the user value, how will it know that whether you're entering? So I entered 2, right? Okay. How does Python know that 2 is not here 2 is an integer, not a string. There is no way to know that 2 is not a string. Correct?
So we have to make it like integer value.
Yes. So yes. So what we have to do is we have to say marks1 because okay. So what Python does is, because it has to first read, right? First it has to read as some format. So since everything can be converted into string, true can be converted to string, complex numbers can be converted to string, integer boolean or even float can be converted to string. So what Python says is, okay, since I don't know what you want to do, I'm going to read it as string. Okay. So by default, when I enter 2, it read at string, and that's why it says I cannot add to integer. Okay. String numbers will be concatenated. You cannot add string to an integer. You can concatenate to a string. You can do addition of 2 integer values, but you cannot perform a string to integer. So that's why you get an error, type error, okay? That, this is not possible. So we have to convert. So by default, it reads at string because, see, when you don't know, let's say you want to buy milk, right? And you don't know, for example, bad example, but just to give you how it works. Let's say, you don't know that milk is a liquid, right? So even see, if you carry a bag, cloth bag, okay, then you can't take milk in that. But since you don't know, so what will do? You will take a plastic container. Why? Because even if it is a liquid, it is fine. Even if it is a solid, also it's fine. Because plastic, you can store solid also, isn't it? So, so it's like being safe. So that's why to be safe, it reads everything as string. But in analysis, we need as integer. So we will convert into integer. So marks in line number 38, is string. And line in 39, it's going to be marks1. So marks1 is string. Now I'm converting string to integer.
Okay.
So now if I say 50, okay, we get output here. 50 plus 90 plus, you get 68%. So this is how you can make it more interactive. You can even put int here itself. Let's say in marks2, what I'll do, I will say int of input. So you can do it in same one line also. You don't have to do it in 2 different lines. Okay. So because when I said, right, when you use 2 different functions, first the innermost function is used. First innermost function is used. So first input will be reading the value. And then whatever you read, that is then converted into integer. Okay. So you are reading the input and then convert it into integer.
So this is how we convert that float value, string values into integer.
Correct. Okay. Int will convert into integer, float will convert into float, right? So by default it is string, so you can choose what to convert. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'm thinking is I leave this, okay, and you do same thing here, okay? When as assignment, you change it everything to input. Okay. Okay.
So when we are
Yeah, go ahead. You're saying something.
So how will it know that we are giving like, so if marks 3 is also like input, then it will be like it doesn't know, right? Like which one belongs to 1 and which one belongs to 2. It
No,
will
it
go
knows, right? Marks 1 equal
into
to,
the
right?
line.
No. Marks 1 equal to, correct? So when you say equal to, that means this is what belongs to marks 1, isn't it?
Oh, okay, got it.
You have left side
Wait,
value, right?
no, what I'm saying is when I am entering the value, so how it will know like what I entered first, it will be like only for marks 1 and all.
No. See, marks 1 is equal to input, correct? So marks 1 will store this value. Okay, first it will store string. So if you're entering here input, because it is waiting for you to enter, right? So it is
Yeah,
waiting
that
for
is
you.
what I'm asking.
Correct. It is
When I'm
no.
entering, how
See, I
does
have
it know that?
just look down. Okay, at the screen. I've entered. I have run this program. Correct. It is waiting for me to enter the value. So for 38, it is waiting, isn't it? So whatever I entered will go to 38.
Okay.
Okay. So if I entered 67, it now and hit enter, it went to marks 1. So marks 1 is now 67. Okay, here it was 67 in string, it became 67 integer. Now it is waiting for me to enter value for marks 2,
Okay.
right? So now if I enter something like this, it becomes,
Yeah. Okay, I
okay,
got it.
okay. So
Mm.
this is how it changes. Okay. So sorry. Okay. So now, okay. I just said, right, it is waiting and blinking, right? It is waiting and blinking for you to um, um, to enter the value, correct? So but we know we are running, so we know um, we know that it is um, um, it is uh, value for marks 1, right? We're entering value for marks 1, correct? But when you're running it for the first time, okay, you will not know what should I enter. Should I enter my name or what? Phone number? What is that it is asking? So input also allows you to give a text or give one parameter, not more than one. Print, you can have something, comma, something, comma, something, comma, something, right? And many. But input doesn't allow comma, okay? I can say enter marks 1, okay? And I can say here, enter marks 2, okay? Or enter marks in subject. You can be as creative as possible. Okay, we should be more creative, right? Because see, let's say you're building a ticketing system, flight ticketing system. You need the user to give you the starting airport, landing airport, date on which they are flying, date from which they want to return, right? These are the input. Then later you'll ask for name. So your message should be clear enough, right? Okay, that please, not please, but enter destination or enter source, date of travel, right? So more creative you are, more easy it is for customer to understand what to enter, right? So something, enter marks in subject 1, enter marks subject. So now when I run it, it says enter marks in subject 1. Okay, I say 55. Enter marks in subject 2, I say 65. And it takes 65, 55, 65, and rest it will take these marks. Okay, and you get 64. Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, and so two things we have learned, right? First thing we have learned is, or maybe three things. Okay, the input is the function which is used to read the value from the user. So whenever you want to read value from the user, you'll hear questions like this: write a program to read value from user, write a program to read value from the keyboard, right? Write a program for interactive input, right? Interactive input, read value from user, read value from keyboard. That means they want you to use input. Okay. So input, so that is input function. Input by default reads as a string. So if you want to read name, let's say, you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to say str of str to just convert into string. So because by default input is reading as string and you want string, so you don't have to say str of. Okay. But if you want some other form, you want Boolean form or float form, you have to say int of or bool of or float of or complex of. You have to convert into that fashion. Okay. So now let's say, okay, I'll run this again and it's asking to enter marks integer, but I enter something. Okay, the program will stop. Okay, because value error, it is not able to convert the text into integer, right? So later when we do error handling, we'll talk about how to handle such error. Okay, for now let's assume that user is very nice, so your program should not, let's say same flight system, when you're developing and user enters a name in place of mobile number, your system should not crash, right? It should give a proper message and it should recover and rerun, right? So we'll see that in error handling. Yeah, right. Okay. But here now, if you give something else, it will just crash, stops. It doesn't even go further down, right? It stopped, right? So we'll see in error handling. Okay. So yeah, so conversion into integer, we have to do it, or conversion into whatever format you want to, you have to do it. And finally, you can, give a maximum of one message. We call it as prompt, basically, one text message you can give input, which will be displayed as it. That's what we call prompt. It will be displayed as it is to the user. Okay, it displays as it is to the user, right? Yeah. Okay. So yes, now your task is to convert these three also using input. Now we have some time, so let's start talking about another important concept, which is called conditional statements. Okay, in conditional, we we check the condition and the output, our behavior, the reaction depends upon the um, the um, what do you call, like um, the input, So I'm just while talking, I was thinking of something else. That's why I got confused. So I was thinking of what to give the example. Let's say average. Okay. Now, if average is more than equal to 50, we want to say pass. Okay. That means you have passed. And if it is less than 50, you want to say it is failed. Right. So the pass or fail. Okay. Now, till now, so far, we have seen linear execution, right? We are executing line by line. Okay. Okay. Line by line. Okay. Um, 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 just give me a second. Okay. So see, so far I was saying that we have been executing line by line. We are executing line by line, correct? Um, um, uh, like till here, if you see, just forget about this part. Till here, all the programs, like it went into line 1, then 2, 3, 4, so on. Now, challenge here is, okay, I want to print something like this. Print, you have passed, and I have to print something like you have failed. Okay. But I don't have to print it both, right? The either this or that. Correct? Not both. I have to print either you have passed or you have failed based on the condition, right? So this is what we use conditional statements, if, correct? So this is how if is used in Python. So I'll say if, and the condition is avg greater than equal to 50, colon, right? Now colon indicates beginning of if block. Okay. Now here you do not have curly braces and things like that. Okay. If, to indicate it's a if, condition. So if condition, colon, okay, and then if it is true, if this condition is true, this is why we learned logical and conditional statement. Okay. So this is conditional statement. You can have multiple conditional statements. Okay. So if average greater than equal to 50, if average greater than equal to 50, okay, if this is true, okay, you can get inside if. Okay, if this is true, go inside if. So this statement you have passed will be printed, okay, only if this condition is true. So another important thing we are looking at now is indentation. So far, every character started from first position. Every character is starting from first position. Okay. And even if you give a space here, it will give you error. Okay. If you run the program, it will give you error because it is expecting every statement to start from first. Okay. Indentation, which other language is good to have, is made mandatory in Python. Is made mandatory. Indentation is mandatory, otherwise your program will not work. Now here, the you have passed is not part of your main execution. This is part of the if block. So I have to give at least one space. Now Python says at least one space you have to give. It is not restricting how many spaces, but at least one space they have to give to indicate that this print is inside if. This print is inside if. Okay. If I give here, that means this print is also part of the main program. Okay. And this will give error because there's nothing inside if, and it is expecting something to be inside if. So if there is nothing, if you do not want to put anything inside, you can say pass, right? So now if I try to run here, you get error. You get error because this is the first line. It was expecting it to be inside if, okay? So it is not inside if, so it gave error. But let's say there could be a situation where, and generally it happens when you're building your program, right? You're thinking of multiple logic. When you think of multiple logic, you cannot write all the logic at the same time, isn't it? So we create placeholders first, okay, and then step by step you add your logic. So let's say I have created a placeholder for condition, and maybe tomorrow I want to come and add the condition here. So first I'll just put pass now, because inside if I have to do some complex calculations, and let's say today is the end of the day, I want to come tomorrow and think about it. I don't want to think today. So I'll just put pass here. Okay, pass indicates there's nothing in this block. Don't expect anything, it is blank. Okay, so now when I run it, it will execute fine. Okay, condition is true, it goes to pass. Okay, pass, that means nothing to worry about. Okay, and then it goes and it says you have passed and you have failed. Okay, it is not yet. It is. Okay, so it says you have passed and you have failed because these two are part of main program, isn't it? Now let's say I have come next day and I'm going to remove pass, and instead I'll put this print. So what I said is at least one space, single space. Okay, but you can give a tab space also. Generally, for visualization, for looking at it, right? Good for our eyes is one tab space. So you will see one tab space. Okay, but Python says even one space is enough. You give one space or you give 100 space, Python doesn't care. Okay, but there's another but here. But even if you give 100 spaces, the next statement in the print has to begin from here.
Okay.
You have choice, okay, in if. You have choice to give the number of spaces in the indentation in the first line only. So here you have a choice. But here you have no choice. Whatever you give, whatever spaces you give, same spaces you have to give here to indicate that these two statements are part of if block. Okay, so that's what. So best is we give one tab, it is good enough. More than one tab doesn't look good. Less than one tab, it is not visible. You may not even see, it's starting from first position, second position. So better give one tab, it looks good, and everybody gives one tab. And you can create your own complex logic inside this. If you can have 100 lines of code also, but those 100 lines of code will execute only if this condition is true. Otherwise, no. Okay. So this is if. Now you talk about else.
So the next condition will come into that else condition.
Correct. So today we'll just talk about if else. Tomorrow we'll talk about third condition, which is elif. Okay. So if you have only one condition to check, in this case, I don't want to check if you have failed or not. Okay. Let's say I don't want to do that. I want to say print thank you. Okay. Now here I'm just checking condition. If it is more than 50, I will perform this. Otherwise, I will not. I'll do nothing. Okay. I'll do nothing. But which is
I'm
also
sorry,
fine. Yeah. Sorry.
Just one question.
Yeah.
So if you are saying that if average is greater than or equal to 50, if that condition is true, it will print like you have passed it, right?
Correct.
If not, it will print
nothing will happen. No,
nothing will happen.
Nothing because if is also inside if only, right? If you see the indentation, right? So all these are inside if.
Oh, okay. So it will print both of them. That's what you mean.
Yeah, it will print both of them, or it will not print any one of these.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got
So
it.
all these are inside if. So if this is true, all of this you will get. If this is false, nothing you will get.
Yes.
Okay. And then finally it will print and say thank you. So you can check for only one condition. Okay. Or if you have two conditions like here, else. So you can say if, or you can say else, you have failed. So now it is either this or that.
Mm.
Okay. And next we'll see how to give grade, right? Grade can be multiple 5 grades. So then how do we write this? So if you have only one condition to check, you can use if. If you have two conditions to check, either this or that, then you have if else. If you have 5 conditions, average more than 80, give me grade A, average more than 70, grade B, average more than 60, grade C, so on.
Mm.
So in that case, we use if, else. First condition, first is always if, and last is always else. Else means default. If nothing, no condition means do this, right? So first is always if, indicate the beginning of if block. Else is always last. In between, you can have any number of elif. So if you have 5 conditions to check, one and last is if else. In between, you'll have 3 elifs. If you have 100 conditions to check, first and last, if else, and you have 98 elifs in between. Okay. So yes, so we'll stop here for today.